on? It is Brian Lapine yet again here at Fitness Fusion, and today we're going to fix your form on the bent over row. Before we get started, this is a pretty important one because there's a lot of different exercises that require you to get into the same position. If you can't get into the position right, you're not going to get any of those other exercises right. So we're going to start with how to get into the position for a bent over row. Let me first show you how the exercise looks from a couple of angles, okay? So here's your bent over row with proper form. Let me show you from the front here. You're going to notice my elbows aren't going out wide, they're going back. Okay, so getting into that position is about 80% of the exercise for most people. They sometimes screw it up. So it's going to look like this. Bent over, and where people go wrong is they start to round their back. And this is the biggest thing I see, the biggest issue, so we're going to spend the most time on it. It's rounding of the back. It can be the upper back, it can be the low back. If you're rounding your back, you got to start from scratch, all right? So I have a tool here which is going to help me get into the right position. And it would help you as well. If you don't have a PVC pipe, you could use a broom or something. Anything at home that's straight. Doesn't even matter. Anything straight. So I'm going to hold it on my back. I have 3 points of contact with this PVC pipe. My tailbone, right between my shoulder blades, and my head. And from here, I'm going to attempt to just bend over at the hips and maintain contact on all 3 points. If I lose contact, it's because I'm rounding my back. So if I start to lose contact low at my tailbone, it's because my back's rounded. Or if I lost it high, somewhere along the lines, I lost my flat back. So start up tall again, use this pipe, and it's going to teach you how to get into the correct position for your bent over row. Just practice. This same position is used for RDLs, your stiff leg deadlifts, bent over flies, tricep kickbacks, a lot of moves, okay? So once you get that down and you can finally have that nice flat back all the way into the position, then you can start working with weights, okay? The targeted muscle on this is your upper back, your shoulder blades, your rhomboids. That's the main target. You're gonna work some arms too, but it's mostly your shoulder blades, okay? So now that we fixed the form with the PVC pipe, let's go over some other common issues. You're going to see a lot of times people will bend their knees either too much or too little. So I'll show you with the weights. So you might see people try to bend their knees too much and they're like squatting. And now it's just not a good position to stand in. Well, I can still do the move and get a good shoulder blade squeeze if I focus. Your legs are going to tire out, so you don't want too much. You also don't want too strict of a knee, right? Too straight. If I bend over, it's going to really limit my range of motion, especially if you have tight hamstrings like I do. If you're really flexible, you maybe could do it with your legs straight, but I still wouldn't recommend it. So the goal is to get a little bit of a knee bend and let your hips drive back. So hips back, hips back, hips back. My knees are a little bent. This is my perfect position, and then I can begin my rows. Okay, next thing we're looking at is the angle that the dumbbells travel in, the line that the dumbbells travel in. You want to go diagonally back, and here's why. If I'm bent over and I go diagonally back, my elbows are going diagonal, the dumbbells are angled a bit to go diagonal. Now I can truly get a shoulder blade squeeze. What I see a lot of times though is people going straight up. So they try to pull the weights straight up to the ceiling, and all this is doing now is it's up in my shoulders. I'm getting that scrunch, my technical term, right? The scrunch. So I don't want to go straight up. I want to go back. I got to keep my traps and my shoulders down and not let them rise up. So play around with that. Once you get into the position, feel the difference between trying to pull the weights straight up or see how it feels keeping your shoulders down and pulling diagonally back, okay? Makes all the difference in the world. The last thing that is the most common mistake a lot of people make is they're not actually using the targeted muscle, which is our upper back, our shoulder blades. They sometimes will just use their arms. So that might be hard to see, but try to focus on my upper back. Okay, so I'm in the right spot, and right now I'm just rowing with my arms only. I'll even show you with the weight. Try to watch my shoulder blades. My shoulder blades are not retracting as much as they should or could be, so I need to start focusing on the actual scapular squeeze. I get my elbows high and my shoulder blades together. I've seen a million times where it's all arms and nobody's actually working the upper back. And then they'll say, well, my arms burn out first. Well, no shit. It's because you're only using your arms. So focus on the squeeze. Super quick edit time. So I was just outside working out, and I realized I forgot some stuff, so I'm going to cut it in with my really great editing skills, which you'll see I have none of. And I'm all sweaty because I was just outside working out with our group class. But it made me think of another big problem and area where people do this exercise wrong. And it's when they can't control the weight, so they cheat it. They cheat it up. So it happens when they're getting fatigued, and then it looks something like this. You use your body to fire the weights up, and now I'm not using any of my shoulder blades. So a good test, I tell people, you'll know you have the right weight if you can row, squeeze it for about a half second to a second at the top before letting it down. If you can't hold it up there, you shouldn't be doing that weight yet. So, yeah, that's another way to check. Make sure you're doing it right. Don't be that guy in the gym who's just trying to, or gal, who's just trying to show off, see how much weight you can throw up there with momentum. It's not the same. It's not gonna do anything to get better at the actual exercise you're doing. So, no cheating, no momentum. Do it right. Now back to the video. And let's see, modifications. I've seen certain people that can't get into this position, even with the help of this. It could be some imbalance in the muscle, or maybe limitations in your range of motion, flexibility, mobility. So we do have a couple modifications to assist people who can't do the bent over row standing. My favorite one is called chest supported rows. I'm going to show you on this bench right here. So you got the two weights. You're going to put the weights up top. Let your hips come down to the bench first, and then roll the weights off to the side. And now I have a nice flat back without having to even think about it. The bench just does it for me. And I can pull diagonally again, backwards, squeeze the shoulder blades, and release. So this one I use with a lot of my clients who can't seem to figure out this position, standing bent over. And it is pretty common, I see it a lot. Another version, you could do cable rows or like TRX rows. It helps because you don't have to worry about your bent over position. You're just pulling straight into your body, so you don't have to worry about the positioning. But if I could recommend anything, it would be to work on the positioning until you get it right, and then you're good from there. You can keep going higher weights and make progress from there. All right, so cues that actually work on this exercise, you're going to hinge at the hips. So it's not a hinge at the knees to get into the position, it's a hinge at the hips. So think about your hips driving backwards, and then begin once you get to the right position. Another thing I tell people is to keep their chest proud and to keep their rib cage out. This is going to help keep the upper back flat and the low back flat as well. So if I keep a proud chest and I hinge at the hips from there, I can't round, because if I'm rounded, I no longer have a proud chest. Okay? So keep your chest proud, rib cage out, flat back. Remember to keep the knees slightly bent, not straight, and not too much like a squat. The diagonal row, one of the biggest cues, diagonally back, not straight up, which usually causes it to be all on the shoulders. Keep your shoulders packed down. So if you let them come up, you're scrunching. So So keep your shoulders packed down and your traps, which are right here by your neck, keep them from rising up towards your ears. And finally, the one that if you come to Fitness Fusion, you've heard me say this probably a million times and you're probably sick of it, but I always tell people to crack the peanut open between their shoulder blades. So visualize an unopened peanut between your shoulder blades. Every time you do a row, you want to crack it open, and then there's a new one. Crack it open. There's a new one. Crack it open. That is the gist of the bent over row. If you guys have further questions on it, please comment down below, let me know. I will read and answer all of those comments for sure. If you want to see any specific exercises, again, comment below and let me know what you want to see. I'm happy to help you guys out however I can. I just ask that you help me out by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing with any friends and family who might find this information useful. All right, see you guys next time.